How much has your government stole from you? What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, the 16th of February. And of course, as we know, tomorrow's a holiday, President's Day. Why this holiday couldn't have been last Monday, the day after the Super Bowl? I mean, the actual date has no significance. Why wouldn't they just make it on the most unproductive day of the year, the day after the Super Bowl, and make it a holiday for everybody? God only knows why, but of course, that is our government at work, setting up stupid holidays for stupid days, and again, not taking anything else into consideration. And of course, a federal judge just handed Elon Musk and Doge a win to get data from 3 agencies. So we are starting to see things work. Hopefully it will continue. We know that the far left for sure is going to fight every step of the way, as they have done against President Trump since 2015. We know that this is not going to be easy, but aren't you tired of having your money go to areas that you have no idea where it's going? Aren't you tired? I mean, there are wires, there's proof that money went to the Wuhan lab. There's proof where some of the money is gone. And isn't it about time we said enough? Okay, that's what I look at. I mean, you know, there's going to be an audit, hopefully. Now, again, this is obviously the problem. Do we really get to this point, the audit of a lot of the federal agencies and their payments? Because, again, we all know as taxpayers that our political allies are not allies. Our people that were in office and some that are still in office, both sides of the aisle, stole a lot of our money. Okay, put out deals that benefited them in the long run, whether it was for campaign contributions, for whatever reasons. We all know that you just don't go into office, and if you look at the net worth now of AOC, who was a broke bartender and now worth in the millions, there's got to be something to it. Okay, but I think there's some interesting things happening, and of course, Jamie Dimon had a little deal on Zoom, and he goes, "Fucking Zoom!" Jamie Dimon launching a tirade. Okay, because of course, people that are working from home will normally not work as hard. Okay, very few of us, like me, work constantly at home, and a lot of you do, I'm sure. But if you're getting paid by the hour, you may not work quite as hard. And again, I'm all for the ability to have partial time and work from home partially. But I think Jamie Dimon summed it up best, and that's enough. Okay, I mean, COVID was bullshit. The whole setup was bullshit. The vaccines were bullshit. So again, let's get back to a real country and get back to really going back to work. And obviously that would help many areas of this country, including the commercial real estate market, which is about ready to collapse. But the brain rot of the DEI and the Democrats who support it, it's a lot worse than you think, and they continue to try to push their way on you. Okay, they continue to try to convince you that that's the way to go, and of course, to me, no. I think that just like markets, everything should be done through a free system. Okay, and of course, Vance hits back at headlines on U.S. military action as meeting with Zelensky begins. Again, you know, Vance is talking about, you know, what's going to happen with Ukraine and with Russia. And again, I think that we're getting closer to the end of this monotonous money grab that President Biden had supported for all those years. But what about the retail sales crash we just saw? You said it had numbers on Friday. Of course, now all those credit card bills are coming due. Everybody who's overspent for Christmas is coming due. Now I want to see what's going to happen. Okay, you know, we just finished the Super Bowl, and of course I live in Nevada, and the casinos were a lot slower now for what is typically one of the busiest weekends of the year. The debt in this country is piling up. It is overly ridiculous. The inflation is skyrocketing. Okay, and this is the remnants of the past administration. And I am not saying that President Trump and his administration will immediately take care of it, but have you seen the price of eggs? Have you seen the prices that you're paying in other areas? It's going to take some time, as I've said all along, it's going to take some pain before we get back on track, okay? And, you know, but here we go again with, and this is, I think, one of the problems with the appointed judges. Again, it doesn't matter whether it was appointed by Trump or before, Republican or Democrat appointments. The problem is now that one of the judges blocked Trump's executive order on the transgender and the mutilation of children. Okay, and again, I don't know about you, but I don't think a 10-year-old is old enough to know where they want to be when they're 30. Okay, I think that it's kind of like LASIK surgery. Okay, for your eyes. Okay, they used to make you wait until you were 18, 19, or 20 until you were full grown and could make a decision, and there wouldn't be a change. And I think the same thing should stand for, listen, if you want to be transgender, hey, I got no problem with it. God bless. But at the end of the day, I don't think parents and I don't think government should allow the mutilation of children. Okay? I think there's a lot more to that. And again, we've seen some eruption in researches for bleach pit, wipe the hard drive, offshore banks in D.C., because it looks like the deep state knows that they've got some troubles. It looks like the deep state knows there's problems coming down the road. Okay, and I think you're seeing the pushback that Elon Musk has get to try to follow the money. There's an old say: you follow the money, you find the problems. Okay, and of course the Republicans have agreed on a deal to cut $1.5 trillion from the budget. And of course, the woke Democrats are trying to figure out a way to shut down the government. Okay, and I think not really big news, but news, and that is that the New York Stock Exchange has now opened a branch in Texas. I wonder why. Well, because there's taxes, state taxes. Again, it's interesting how the states that have no state tax, like Nevada, like Texas, like Florida, and others, always are thriving, okay, and people want to go there. And of course, the Texas states like Illinois, California, and New York that continue to need money and overtax you. I mean, if you're living in California, New York, or Illinois, over 50% of your income is going to pay taxes. I don't think that's a very good formula, in my own opinion. I mean, in fact, I don't think we should be paying taxes at all. I think that we should be generating money through industry and through business. But that's a story for another day. But of course, the New York doesn't need a floor anymore, so they don't necessarily need an overall presence in New York. The same for Chicago. The Chicago exchanges had moved years ago for the same reason. Once there's no need for a floor, you don't need to have an actual big presence as they had at the New York Stock Exchange. And just a little tidbit, if you want to look at the last Trump term to this Trump term, and in the middle of the Biden administration, and the extra inflation on Biden versus Trump, food and housing 17% higher under Joe Biden. Going out to eat 13% ahead of Joe Biden, of Trump. Biden's higher than Trump. Okay, food, meat, fish, poultry, and eggs 18% higher under Biden. Dairy, 12% higher under Biden. Cereal, 16% under Biden. Fruits and vegetables, 8% above Biden over Trump. So again, how great was Bidenomics as they continue to try to defend one of the worst presidents, one of the biggest pieces of shit, and of course, somebody who really destroyed a middle class. How do you justify it? That's, again, what I'd like to know. In the meantime, we're going to step out here for a break, come back with our market report right here on Bubba's Bottom Line Sunday on February the 16th. We'll be right back. What's up, kids? Hope everything's well. Hope you had a great Valentine's Day and enjoyed yourself. Again, markets remain slow, but of course, you know we have sponsors that sponsor the show, and of course they are Capital Trading Group, CTG. They are our futures and commodities broker. They're partner with us in a lot of deals. They are the greatest for customer service. They do a lot of good and help us a lot of ways, and of course help our members, which is what we really care about. And I do have other brokers, just to give you full disclosure. In the meantime, check them out. Their website is on the bottom or on the side. You can check them out. And of course, TRADIER Brokerage, our equity and options partner, unbelievable partner. Plus the fact that they're $10 a month. Our automation works through them. Okay, and you get the choice. In our equity portfolios, it's free. Our hedging portfolios, there's a licensing fee. But either way, it saves me $100,000 a month, $100,000 a year in my own personal savings just by using TRADIER Brokerage. And then of course my automation is awesome. And of course ITM Trading, which is unbelievable for gold and silver. That's where I buy all my gold and silver from. Okay, my physical metals, check them out. They're also scrolling on the bottom. And of course Spooky Express, if you're a gambler, you like to bet, you're looking for an offshore book, spookyexpress.com. And of course our high school program, check them out. We're looking to rebuild and help to educate our kids. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horwitz, and of course our market report. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, February the 16th, and hope you had a good Valentine's Day. Markets continue to be slow. They continue to be drudging. We had CPI, PPI last week, and both showed an expansion in inflation. And of course, you saw gold explode until Friday when it cracked a little bit. And I think you're probably going to see gold head back down now a little bit to probably I look for the mid 2700s, maybe 2713 is my number. But in the meantime, and again, it's not that is not bearish. I just want you to be clear that pullbacks are not bearish. Actually, pullbacks are bullish in a market that is starting to break out in a bull market, which gold is certainly in a bull market. But as we look at the four major indices, big run up this week. Again, we continue to rally in face of any worries. I think the biggest concern for me is the lack of volume, the lack of volatility, because that has prevented a lot of the average people who like to trade the market or are trying to trade for a living. That has hurt them. And it's also a problem, okay, because again, it's more complacent. And there's an old saying, complacency is the architecture of your downfall. And again, we couldn't get any more complacent than this. No volume, no volatility, really quiet. And that just tells you who's buying is the funds and the big money, and the little portion marks like us don't have the same opportunities. So again, in the meantime, the four major indices were higher. We are long the Dow, we are long the S&P, we are long the Russell, we are flat the other two. And I think the NASDAQ's getting ready to be close to a sale. Again, just based on where it's at right now. The dollar, which we obviously no longer trade, I warn you, and it's got nothing against to do with the dollar. It's simply a dollar cost issue of the amount to trade it. But the dollar, we would be long. It hit a down week. The euro currency, we're flat, was up for the week. Bonds and notes had a little bit of a rally. I think, again, they got to the point where they're extremely overbought once again. And as we said last Monday night, sell them. They came all the way down from 118 down to 113 in the 30-year, and they came down from 110 to 108 on the 10-year. Again, interest rates are going higher. Okay, you can take this shit that the Fed tells you, their bullshit story, because their rate cuts do not help you. Okay, the federal funds rate is the money the banks borrow. Okay, and they are over leveraged with that money that they're borrowing. The overnight lending, that's, again, big problem, but that's a story for another day. In the meantime, bonds and notes, we have no position right now, but certainly we'll be getting short soon, I think. Bitcoin, higher, but under 100,000. Look, I think Bitcoin's going to go to 85,000. We're long, and again, it's not that I'm bearish Bitcoin. I just think that it needs to have a little bit more selling. And of course, gold screaming higher. Got almost to 3,000, okay, about 2960. Got clocked on Friday, which was perfect. If you take a look at the chart, you'll see. We're flat. Silver had a nice big jump and then collapsed late in the day on Friday. So it was up $1.22 and ended up 13 cents. But again, we have no position right now. Platinum, we don't trade, but we belong. Copper, got hammered. We are short. The grain markets had a big up day on Friday. we're short across the board, but they are extremely overbought, and I would expect to see some pullback there. The meats, I'm out completely right now and looking for an opportunity. I'm looking for either a massive sell-off, but I'm really looking for a rally to sell into in cattle, and I'm looking for a sell-off to buy in hogs. But we don't trade anymore as a group. I just trade them personally, and I'll always share and give full disclosure of what I'm doing with my own positions for all of you. In the meantime, natural gas had a little bit of a rally last week. I don't think it's any big deal. I think that it continues to work its way lower. Not a lot to think about. And of course, crude oil, we are short natural gas, and crude oil lower again, in which we are short. Overall, we'll see what happens this week. We know it's a holiday tomorrow, so there's not a lot going on. I don't know what to expect. Again, I think the markets need, for the health, they need a little bit of a sell-off anyways, but we're not going to predict. We are overbought, we are extended, and I would look for opportunities to sell. In the meantime, we're going to step out here for a break. We'll be back with our commentary. No football, so we'll be back with our commentary, so I won't give you a loser in the Super Bowl again. And we'll be right back with more here on Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, kids, I'm not going to go through the whole spiel. Just remember, our partners, our brokerage partners, and again, I have other brokerage accounts, so again, full disclosure, Capital Trading Group, TRADIER Brokerage, ITM Trading, and of course, if you're looking for a place to get down on some games, SpookyExpress.com, and of course, our ITM Trading for gold and silver, and our high school program. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horwitz, and my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horwitz. It is Sunday, February the 16th. And you heard me read off the inflation numbers earlier. What I don't understand is, and what I can't seem to figure out is where is everybody getting all the money from, and how are they allowed to create so much debt, and who is funding all this debt? And this is the problem, and this is what I'm upset about, of how they try to, the left tries to control the Doge program. Okay, I think we need to find out where our money is being spent. I think we need to find out how money is being lent out. I think we need to find out, how far over leveraged the banks are, because I think there's a big problem coming. And see, these are problems that could be avoided if we can get away from the crooks and have them quit stealing our money, okay, and get a true and honest answer into what's going on with inside the Federal Reserve, which we do not get that information, and what's going on with the money that we spend, and what's going on with the tax base, and all the other things that President Trump is kind of get done. We might find out that we wouldn't have to pay as much tax. We might find out we'd have a little bit more money in our pocket, and we might find out that we could actually lower the deficit of the money we spent. Because again, if you and I lived like the government lives, we'd either be in bankruptcy court or in jail. Okay, so I think there needs to be more done, and I think we need to be harder on our Federal Reserve and central banking system in general, because I think those are the biggest fucking crooks and cartels in the world. Going back to the 1600s in England, central banking has been nothing but a con since then, and that is my opinion, and that's the way I see it. Have a great weekend, everybody. This is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, and of course, no work tomorrow unless you trade electronically. And then, have a great week, everybody. We'll see you back here on Tuesday with the Bubba's Daily Update. Have a great weekend, everybody.